Uh, I'm really glad to explain about the street interview, and this is the presentation that I'm going to conduct based on the interview that I conducted with three people. So the first person was Freddie, who talked about the main principles or the main functions of the the three branches of the government, but even though he did not exactly uh, tell complete about the branches of the government, so he did not mention exactly the exactly how the three branches of the government works. And the second interview told also some of the branches of the U.S. government, and he did not really mention clearly, but he already mentioned some. So in this presentation, I'm going to cover what are the three branches of government, what does each branch do. Democrats and Republicans are the major two parties, but we need to know the third party in the US and what is the basic process which uh, which the bill becomes a law. And also, we are going to cover the last question, which is what is the yeah that is the four process. So this is not really important. So these are the four questions that we are going to cover throughout the presentation. So we are going to start, this is the outline, and I'm going to start what are the three branches of the government. So if we go to the next slide, we see that what are the three branches of the government. So the first branch is the executive. Executive is the top part of the US, like the White House, and it's included the president and vice president, and also other members of the presidential uh, members, like who work under the presidency, like secretary and other members. So the second part or second branch of the government is legislative, which is in general called Congress, and also Congress is divided into two parties, which is Senate and House of Representatives. So the third branch is judicial, and which is a Supreme Court. So now let us go to the second slide, fourth slide, so that we can see what the executive branch does. So what do each branch do? Like the first branch is executive. Executive is a president and the vice president, and the executive branch include vice president and the members of the presidential cabinet, and the members of the presidential cabinet are nominated by the president and also approved by the Senate. So the executive branch is responsible for carrying out laws. So that is the first branch, the first branch's activity. So now let us see the second branch. What does it do? Like legislative branch. So legislative branch is called Congress, and it's divided into two parts. So the first part is Senate and the second part is a House of Representatives. So the Senate is composed 100 members, and each state in the United States has two representatives, which makes 50 states. So House of the Representative is also composed 435, which are elected members by each state depending on different states. So each state might have, suppose that one state might have 10, while others might have even less than that, while other state might have more than that, depending on the population of the state. So each Senate serves 6 years in the office, while also House of Representative members, which are the parliament, service 2 years, and also it's renewable. So the main work of the Senate and the House representative are to make laws. So they are also strong when it comes to taking measures against the president and also other branches of the government. So, for instance, they can they can they can exactly declare a war or negate a war. So the Constitution gives Congress the authority to enact legislation and to declare war. Congress is subdivided in divides into two major uh, groups, Senate and House of Representatives. So, so let us go to the third branch, which is judicial branch. So judicial branch is a Supreme Court which leads the judicial system of the United States of America. And also it upholds the Constitution. So the Supreme Court presides over the court cases, such as, and also it protects judicial process and oversees also the laws of the land. So the Supreme Court has the authority to rule such as election disputes, so corruption allegations, and also the other courts are under Supreme Court, like federal court, state court, and district court. So now we have ended here the three branches of the government. So now let us go to the next slide, which is okay, which is about naming the third part of the major parties in the United States. So the first party is a Democrat and the second party is a Republican. So also America has different parties, but they don't have influence like those two major uh, parties have. So America is also has a host of minor parties based on the support of presidential candidate in 2016. And the largest are the Libertarian, Green, and the Constitution Party. So these are the main constitutional, these are the main parties apart from the two major parties. So now let us go to the last question, which says that what is the basic process by which a bill becomes a law? So here, a bill to become a law, it requires 10 process. It passes 10 process. So the first step is a bill is a bond. Like a bill, anyone may draft a bill. However, any member of the Congress can also introduce in legislation. By doing so, become sponsored. So the president, member of the cabinet, or the head of federal agency can also propose legislation, although members of the Congress might introduce to the Congress. So the second step to second process which a bill becomes a law is that when that when the bill is born, the first process was that. The second process is the committee action. So as soon as a bill is introduced, it referred to the committee. So at the point of bill is examined carefully, its chances for the passage are the first determined. So if a committee does not act on the bill is effectively dead, which means if that bill is not considered by the committee, which means the bill is going to die. So now the third option is that subcommittee review. Subcommittee review. So often bills are referred to the subcommittees for the study and hearing. So hearing provides the opportunity to put on record of the view of the executive branch, experts, other public officials, and supporters and opponents of legislator. So when it passes all those things and also it uh, when it passes all those process, then it will come to the fourth step, which is markup. So markup is the fourth step, which is when the hearing are completed, the subcommittees might meet to the makeup which the bill that makes change and also amendment period, the recommending the bill to the full committee. So if some subcommittee votes not to report the legislation to the full committee, then the bill dies. So if the committee votes for the bill, it is sent to the floor. So then it also goes to the another process, which is process 5, which says committee action to report bill to the Senate. So after receiving the subcommittee its report on the bill, full committee votes its recommendation to the House or Senate, and the procedure is called ordering bill reported. So after that, it will go to the sixth step, which is voting. So after the debate or the approval of any amendment, bill is passed or defeated by the members voting. Then it goes to the uh, seventh step, which is when the House and it's called referral to the other chamber. So when the House or the Senate passes a bill, it referred to the other chamber, and when it usually follows the same route through committee and its floor, this chamber may approve the bill as received or reject it or ignore it or change it. So they was referred to the House also representative, where the committee and floor action is received, reject or ignored or changed. Then it will go to the eighth step, which is conference committee action. So when the action of the other chambers significantly alter the bill, the conference committee is formed to reconcile the differences between the House and the Senate version, and if the conferees are unable to reach an agreement, then the legislation will die. If the agreement is reached, the conference report is prepared describing the committee members' recommendation. For changes, both House and the Senate must approve the conference report. Then it will go to the 9, which is final action. 9, which is a final action. So the final action, which is 9, after both House and Senate have approved the bill identical form, it is sent to the president, and if the president approves the legislation, he signs it, and it becomes a law. Or if the president takes no action for 10 days while the Congress in a session, it automatically becomes law. And if the president approves the bill, he can veto it, or he can take no action after the Congress has adjourned its second session, and it is a pocket veto, and the legislation dies. So the last step, which is overriding a veto, says that if the president vetoes the bill, Congress might attempt to override the veto, and if the Senate or the House passes the bill by two-third majority, the president's veto is overruled and the bill becomes a law. So these are the procedures when it comes to bill to become a to become when bill becomes a law. So these are the 10 process that allows or that makes a bill to be a process. So this is the end of our presentation, and I'm really glad to present this amazing presentation.